Welcome to the Player Attack summer season, thanks to Wargaming. We're taking a few weeks off to relax, go outside, enjoy the sunshine. Wait, who am I kidding? We're going to be playing our way through a whole stack of video games. Player Attack will be back in 2014. We've already got some exciting things in store, so stay tuned. We will still be updating playerattack.com throughout the holiday season, as well as hanging around on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can drop us an email, mailbox@playerattack.com, if you've got something to say. In the meantime, why don't you take a little while to catch up on some of the Player Attack highlights from the past year as we revisit some of our favourite clips.
It's a good year to be a gamer. Not one, but two brand new consoles have just arrived in time for the holiday season. Last week we looked at the Xbox One, so this week it's time for the PlayStation 4, which has just launched in Europe, Australia, New Zealand and Brazil, 2 weeks after hitting the United States and Canada. Want to know what games to get? You are in the right place.
It's a trap.
Of course it is.
You're one of them.
Metropolis will be history.
First up, Injustice: Gods Among Us Ultimate Edition. It's a re-released version of the fighting game published earlier this year, but it's been nicely polished up for the next-gen platform. It's basically a DC Comics interpretation of the popular Mortal Kombat-style fighting game, with characters like Superman, Batman and Wonder Woman duking it out in an alternate universe. On the PS4, the game also uses the DualShock 4 touchpad in several new Star Labs missions, and there are some serious graphical upgrades. The other major difference? The inclusion of all of this year's DLC. That means you have a bunch of great character skins at your fingertips, as well as the ability to play as Lobo, Barbara Gordon's Batgirl, Scorpion, General Zod, Martian Manhunter and Zatanna right out of the box.
The things I've done. A better person would feel bad. Me? Got no apologies.
Driving games are always a good benchmark for a new console, and with Gran Turismo 6 remaining a PlayStation 3 exclusive, Need for Speed Rivals is our petrolhead pick of the launch lineup. If you played Hot Pursuit, you should be familiar with the idea behind this one. You play as either a cop or a racer, and each side has its perks and downfalls. With more than 100 miles of open road, you're looking at jumps, speed traps and plenty of unlockable cars, all running on EA's amazing Frostbite engine. Far from being a straight-up racer, there's a bit of Demolition Derby thrown in there for kicks. But the real joy of Rivals comes, again, from the next-gen graphics. Running at 1080p, the weather and terrain are breathtaking, and the cars themselves are, shall we say, appropriately shiny. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag brings the pirates to the new console, taking the popular franchise to the high seas. Ubisoft has learned a lot from its mistakes made in Assassin's Creed 3 and has presented a brand new take on the series. We've got a new hero, a new storyline, and one of the prettiest games we've seen in a long time.
Now you're ready to sail for the Horn. Play, roll and go. The anchor's on board and the cable's all scored.
She fancies you, lad.
Dandy, dandy, oh. Come breast the bars, bullies, heave away.
Don't go thinking there's no free running, rooftop climbing and leaps of faith in this one. There are cities dotted around the pirate map in Black Flag, and they've been well designed for climbing and acrobatics. Level design's been beefed up, stealth missions are stealthier, and we really like the fact that collecting sea shanties increases the variety of tunes your crew will spontaneously launch into. Grabbing this one on PS3 or PS4 will get you extra content too. 3 extra missions focusing on Aveline, the main character from Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. Most of the PlayStation 4 launch lineup is made up of sequels and new titles in long-running franchises. But one of the standout titles is a brand new project, from a downloadable title from a studio that brought you Super Stardust HD and Super Stardust Delta. Resogun is a side-scrolling twin-stick shoot-'em-up exclusive to the PlayStation 4, and it's one of the most surprising, most impressive launch titles we've seen on any platform. If you've played old school games like Asteroids, you'll have a rough idea of what to expect. Now, take that simple gameplay and wrap it up in the shiniest, most beautiful wrapping paper you could find, add a ribbon, add some more ribbons, add a big bow and maybe some tinsel, and you're about halfway to visualising the sort of eye candy on offer from Resogun. There are particles everywhere, bullets flying and enemies exploding, and even though the game's running just a bit too fast to take it all in, you're going to want to keep playing. And again, while we wanted to give you 5 great games to rush out and grab right now, we're making another exception.
Some chains can never be broken. I lost 15 years, buried alive, erased. You left me, rotting in that hellhole and never looked back. But you can't outrun the past. And when it catches up, when all your lies collapse around you, I'll be there, sifting through the wreckage. You owe me.
Naughty Dog and Sony have revealed that a brand new Uncharted adventure is headed exclusively to PlayStation 4. We don't know anything more about it, no release date, no hints of storyline or characters, but if the previous games are anything to go by, we're in for a treat whenever it arrives.
This is our day.
The PlayStation 4 is out now in most territories around the world, and there are more than 25 games available at either retail or via the PlayStation Network. If you didn't put down a pre-order, check with your local retailers. Most places have sold out already, but if you shop around, you might just get lucky.
Roll out. World of Tanks. Play for free at tanks.asia.
PopCap isn't a company that just jumps into making sequels. We spent a couple years after PvZ1 just growing that game, actually putting it out on PC, putting it out on mobile devices, on consoles. So spending the first couple years just trying to figure out what's best for Plants vs. Zombies 1 on all of those different consoles. So we talked to the fans and the press and everybody that wanted to know, why did it take so long? It's like, well, it's taken the appropriate amount of time, but we really haven't been working on this game for 4 years. But early on, it was definitely, there were ideas around what would be good for PvZ2. And we spent a lot of time just prototyping and experimenting with different things that we could try before we kind of locked down on what we want to do with PvZ2. So it's about time because you're going on a crazy time travel adventure with Crazy Dave and his time machine Penny. And you start off trying to find his taco. He wants to eat his taco again, not just have another taco, but eat the same taco again. So he gets his time machine because of course Crazy Dave has a time machine. Yeah, and they intend to go back 5 minutes in time, but something goes awry and you end up in ancient Egypt. And then from there you go on this wacky adventure from ancient Egypt to the pirate seas to the Wild West. And then our intention is to just be rolling out new worlds over the months and years to come that allow the player to continue this adventure through time. The gameplay is very similar to the original in that you're on a lawn, you're on the grid, you're planting plants, fighting your zombies, and you're protecting your house and your brains. In that sense, it's the same gameplay you know and love from PvZ1. In PvZ2, we've really changed up the gameplay in a couple ways. First is with the introduction of plant food, and this is a power-up that gets dropped by certain zombies that you fight. And you can plant the plant food onto a plant and it supercharges it for a moment. So it takes your average pea shooter and turns it into its superpowered pea, for a few seconds that can obliterate a whole row of zombies. And you can use it on any other plant. And so we just hope that players spend time playing and experimenting with plant food and their interactions with the other plants. The other way is with, on our touch devices, that we've created a way for the player to actually interact with the board itself with right now 3 touch power-ups. The first is a pinch, so you can actually invoke the power-up and pinch the heads off zombies. The second one is a flick. You can flick them into the air and move them over a few squares, or flick them completely off the map. And then the third is you can tap and zap them and electrocute them and turn them into a little crispy pile of ash. There are a bunch of new zombies. Actually, I was trying to remember the exact number in my head. It's too high to count. Every world has a bunch of zombies. Of course, there's the ones that people know and love, the basic zombie, the conehead zombie, and the bucket zombie that have been reskinned and rethemed for every world. For example, in ancient Egypt, the zombies are more like mummies. But then we bring a whole host of new zombies, some that have similar gameplay mechanics to zombies you might have fought in PvZ1, but in totally new ways. There's also new plants, so just like the plants that you know and love, in PvZ1, the sunflower, the pea shooter, the walnut, things like that. Each new world introduces new plants. One is the lightning reed. He's one that you will encounter in the Wild West. He shoots electricity and it arcs across the zombies, and he's a fantastic counter to the chicken farmer who unleashes a whole bunch of chickens in an event that we call the chickening. And the chickens, run towards your plants and eat all your plants, but the lightning reed is a great way to fry them all. And then some of them turn into buckets of fried chicken. That was awesome.
We left everything behind. Hell, getting here was just the beginning. You said it would be tough to start over, but I didn't listen. You said more would follow. I thought they'd leave us alone. I was wrong.
I'm here at EV Expo 2013 with Abbie from Respawn Entertainment. We are talking about Titanfall, which looks even more amazing than it did when we saw it at E3. What's changed? What's new and exciting and different in the few months since?
Well, we're adding new things all the time because we're in active development. There's a whole crew back at the studio working very hard while I get to talk to you. But, what we're showing here is a new mode called Attrition and a new map called Angel City. It's also the first time that we've had it playable. We've been taking it on a tour. This is our last stop. And it's just really exciting to get to see people play for the first time.
What sort of reaction have you been getting from people who are actually finally able to see more than just videos of this?
It's been awesome. We've really gotten just so much positive feedback. We got the EB Games Game of Show here, and it's just been really exciting, for everybody who's just like busy working on it at Respawn. Like it's just great to hear. It's really inspiring.
For the small handful of people who've managed to miss all of the Titanfall buzz, can you quickly recap what exactly Titanfall is and a little bit of the background?
Sure. So Titanfall is a first-person shooter multiplayer game that features, you play as a pilot, and pilots are a really fast class. They can wall run, like parkour around the city, awesome to play as, and then they pilot the Titans, and Titans are like 7 meters, switch from feet to meters for Australia. They are 7-meter mechs. You pilot one. They've got big guns, powerful class, lots of fun to play as, stomping on the AI in the game that runs around. And it takes place out on a series of planets we call the Frontier. And the core combat is between the IMC and the Militia, the M-Corps.
Campaign-driven multiplayer isn't necessarily something that we've really seen before. Why have you guys chosen to go down that direction?
We have like this great multiplayer DNA in our blood, and it was sort of this challenge of how do we incorporate all the single-player designers on our team and make them part of, multiplayer game. And so trying to bring in these like set piece moments, but also characters, story, and all of that. We also have more traditional modes for those of you who just want to hop in and like play with your buddies, play some quick attrition or hard points modes. But really, I think it was partially trying to challenge ourselves to do something new and to make a really, really fleshed out, in-depth multiplayer experience.
Now, people might have noticed that we are at the Xbox One stand at EB. Can you tell us which platforms is the game coming out on? Because it's not quite as multi-platform as we've seen most games are these days.
No, so Titanfall is coming out on Xbox One, on Xbox 360, and on PC.
Was there any reason behind that decision?
Well, we're a small studio. When we first started out, we chose Microsoft as a partner because we've had a great relationship with them in the past. And for us, being able to focus on one platform is really great. And then past that, we're using the power of the cloud. I know it's a marketing term. Everybody's sick of hearing it. But for us, it means that we're able to have dedicated servers across all platforms, which is, if you're a multiplayer gamer, awesome. So it's been a great choice for us.
There are 2 playable factions in the game. Are they balanced, or is there some asynchronous stuff going on there?
No, I mean, both sides are equal. We're not going to give one the advantage over the other. And same thing with the pilots and the Titans. I mean, pilots are totally capable of taking down Titans, and Titans can obviously take down pilots. They have a little bit of a size advantage. But we're a multiplayer game. Balance is key. If the game's not balanced, I'm a community manager. I'm going to hear about it. I hate when people yell at me on the internet, so yeah, balance is something really important to us.
And now, obviously, there's a massive focus on multiplayer. How many people can play this game simultaneously?
So at E3, we showed 5 versus 5. Here we're showing 6 versus 6. We haven't settled on a final player count. It's one of the nice things, and steps back into what I was talking about with balance, is that the team is constantly playing the game and making sure that it feels right, and that it's the right number of players, to make the world feel populated enough, but not be overwhelming.
Roll out. World of Tanks. Play for free at tanks.asia.
Daniel, you're one of the current most popular wrestlers in the world. What did your parents say when you said, I'm going to be a wrestler?
My mom said, you're not going to go to college? And I was like, yeah. My mom was very disappointed. My dad was like, hey, you get one opportunity to live this life. Go live your dream.
What's it like to go through the past archives of the WWE and find all of these great matches and try and recreate them?
It's been amazing. I mean, if you're a wrestling fan, if you're a WWE fan, this is the Mecca right here. We're reliving all the greatest moments, all the greatest matches in WWE history. And so it was a lot of pressure for us because we wanted to make sure that we're telling these stories accurately, that we're going to make sure we have all the right matches that people remember and consider the top matches. So we put that pressure on ourselves to be able to recreate that in the game. And so we spent a lot of time analyzing what are the top matches, making sure we have all the big ones covered, making sure that we can get all the roster that we need to be able to tell these stories, and then work with the WWE to help us in retelling these great stories and these great matches. And so the WWE actually exclusively produced a lot of these videos for us that kind of tell the story leading up to the rivalries that you're going to experience.
Who is the best gamer in the WWE locker room?
See, this is a toss-up. Because there's a debate between like Kofi Kingston and Big Show. Big Show claims that he's like the best gamer, but I don't know if it's true. Kofi's really good.
Hulk Hogan, Ricky Steamboat, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Right.
Was it difficult to get the likenesses or the rights to use those characters?
The first hurdle that we had, we came up with this idea to do 30 years of WrestleMania, and we really wanted to do that because WWE's having this major milestone coming up, WrestleMania 30, and we thought it'd be great to celebrate that. And the first name that came up was Hulk Hogan because he's not with the WWE right now. So we thought, boy, if we can't get Hulk Hogan, we can't do this mode. So that was our big first hurdle. And once we found out that it wasn't going to be possible to secure Hulk Hogan, everything just went downhill from there. We knew we were going to be able to get all the talent that we needed.
What was your WrestleMania moment? Which was the one thing for you that you were like, I'm so happy that this happened at WrestleMania?
Well, I have to say, WrestleMania 13 in Chicago with Bret the Hitman Hart laying there in a pool of blood, passed out, didn't tap out, didn't say I quit. And it was, a double turn. We went out there and accomplished the task at hand to do the business. We stole the show. We were the semi-main event. It was an iconic match, which will never be forgotten. And, again, a part of the turn that helped me turn into one of the biggest baby faces in the history of the business. That match specifically, passing out in a pool of blood, was that moment.
What's improved significantly from the last version of the game?
There's so much. I know, we're focusing on 30 years of WrestleMania as a single-player campaign, but the game itself continues to evolve, and not only just from a fun factor standpoint, you want the game to always be fun, but also from a quality standpoint. We want to make sure that the animations that you see are really fluid, they're responsive, that when you're playing, we want to try to minimize any frustration that you're having with the game. We've added new, what we call OMG moves. These are the really big moments in a match where you interact with your opponent with the environment. So you can do moves like a DDT onto the apron, and you can do a big boot against the opponent's head onto the ring post. Really fun things that the fans like to play and experience in the game. We've really expanded on a lot of those features. So I want fans to know that gameplay is actually seeing a lot of big changes, and they'll notice it right away when they pick up and play the game.
I was playing a little bit earlier. One of the things that I noticed was the strikes have become a lot more fluid. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, striking, we wanted to speed that up quite a bit. So what we've done is we've actually taken every single strike animation in the game and we've sped it up so that the pacing of the strike is much quicker and snappier. And what that does is actually speeds up the whole pacing in the match. So you can get strikes and attacks off much quicker, you can damage your opponent quicker, and you keep the pace and the action flowing throughout the course of the match.
I haven't played video games in a long time. I played 2K14 just now, and it's the most fun I've had playing a video game since I was a kid. Like, most of those new controllers, I can't figure them out for the life of me. This makes it easy for you, and like also the game is just so much fun and lifelike. It was just awesome.
Which match do you want to set up?
Well, I really want to do some fantasy matchups. We have all those great legend talents, guys like Hulk Hogan and Goldberg. I want to do matches like Goldberg-Ryback would be a really cool match. I want to do Brock Lesnar and Ryback. So I really want to do fantasy matchups. I want to see how Hulk Hogan can face against Daniel Bryan or a John Cena, stuff like that. I think those are really cool, fun fantasy matchups that a lot of fans are looking forward to playing after they heard this huge legendary roster that we have.
I don't really play video games myself, but I've been in a bunch of them, and the 2K14 game is the latest, greatest creation that I'm really proud to be a part of, to be able to leave a big enough of a mark on the business that I know and love that was so important that they keep bringing me back into these video games. So I'm truly honored to be here. I don't necessarily sit around and play video games all the time. I'm more of an outdoor guy. I got a chance to play this game before I came out and did the panel at night, and I looked great. It looked like I felt great. The technology just keeps getting better and better. It's almost like being in the ring. And it brought back some memories. Watching the Stone Cold Steve Austin on the 2K14 game brought back a lot of memories and put some chill bumps on my skin.
And that's about it for this week's Player Attack. Thanks for watching. We will have new content for you in February, but in the meantime, you can catch us on playerattack.com. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you've got something you want to say, send us an email, mailbox@playerattack.com, or just hop on our forums. Till we revisit some more favourite content next week, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this is Player Attack.